Hey everybody, it's Jessica. I wanted to do a little series on the Tree of India Synergy blends. Since we're doing one on single oils, it seems only appropriate to share with you the information about our Synergy blends because you won't be able to find that info online or in a book anywhere else because these are our proprietary formulas. They're only carried at Tree of India. And the very first one that I want to cover is known as, this is my big bottle and you probably can't read it because of the glare, but it's called Forest Therapy. It used to be called blend number 5. So let me tell you the little story about how this oil came to be. Many of you know me, and those of you who don't, I will tell you that one of the most important things in my life is my connection to nature. I grew up very close to nature and it's always been a big part of my life. In fact, at one time my career path, my first job out of college was as a naturalist. So very, very important for me to be around trees. When I moved to Florida back in 2007, it was the first time I had ever lived anywhere where I couldn't go to a forest. There was no hiking. There are some trees here, of course, and they're beautiful, but it wasn't quite the same. So what I did, I noticed that I started not feeling so well and missing nature, and so I got out my essential oils and I took all the ones that came from trees and I blended them together and I inhaled, and it was beautiful. It was fantastic. It just brought me right back to this feeling of being grounded, like I belonged here, and all these wonderful things that I felt. And so I continued to use it and decided that it was appropriate to use the oil blend in my yoga classes. So I began to use that blend number 5, in all my yoga classes during Shavasana. And the response was overwhelming. People really just loved it. And before I knew it, I was selling the oil blend to students at the studio, and then the studio said, hey, why don't you just sell it here? So I bottled it up and made some labels for it. And it's important to know that the very first time I made it, it smelled great. Second, third, fourth time I made it, it smelled a little bit different, but still great, because each time all I did was throw those oils together that came from trees without really knowing or realizing that I should write it down, because it needed to be consistent. So people began to notice that each batch was a little bit different, and I quickly saw that from a business perspective it had to be consistent. So the 5th time that I made it, I wrote down the recipe and called it blend number 5. That's how it got its name. I didn't rebrand it until I moved to Asheville, North Carolina, where nobody knew what blend number 5 was, and it seemed only appropriate to call it something that people would know by the name exactly what it is. And so that was when I rebranded it as Forest Therapy. So you'll find it on my website, on the treeofindia.com website, under both names, and it's the exact same formula. So if you order online and you get Forest Therapy and you thought you were getting blend number 5, don't freak out, it's the same thing. So that's my little story. That's how Tree of India Aromatherapy began. At the time, it was really just Tree of India Yoga. And so soon enough, it became Tree of India Aromatherapy, and it's all because of blend number 5. Much love to you all. Take care. Namaste.